Testing the mic. We are now streaming. We're just going to test this before we fully start, and let's see what this sounds like on YouTube. We're just going to test this before we Yeah, that sounds fine. Okay. We, for once, have actual volume that's not completely cracked. So, that is fantastic on us. Finally, it's worked. I adjusted the mic settings. And now, we are live with the GTI series at Yekaterinburg. It's been a very long time. That in mind, press X to refuel. And for that Eris, go ahead. But you're gonna have to make up because right now we got the yellow flag out on track. If you want to get a 911, you got to make back. So just go. But if you're gonna run qualifying with the 650S, that's what you're gonna stay in. Just letting you know. Anyway, it's been a very long time since we've seen the GTI series at this track, and Jake will be your pace car driver. Again, as I said, absolute pleasure to have him back here in SLC. It was a little bit of a scare last week, but we're glad. 7 cars today, so that's a pretty good GTI field in my opinion. There could be more though joining, it all depends if anyone feels so much. But we got drivers ranging from Performance Engineer making a comeback, Eris Netta of course, a Crucian making a comeback. He unfortunately has strep throat. He will not be racing today at his local track. Of course, there's also Blue Sonic Gen, the legend, the Season 3 SLC champion, of course. That was the first technical GTI series. Of course, that was when we just called it GT3 back in the old days. Of course, our car pacing us off. That looks to be Mr. Monaco. He's in the, as the actual real-life scheme there, based off of Ferrari. Twin Triple V6, of course, also in the field. And Banjo's making his, I think this is either his first or second race in SLC. Anyways, once we reach the final turn, we will be going green. So here we go. Green flag on the racetrack. We'll be quiet to let you guys hear that sympathy. Well, that's very weird there. Perf and Twin have switched cars. If you two could please ditch this lap and switch cars. Unless you're going to stay in those cars for the rest of the race, you have to follow by your pit lane. You are not allowed to switch cars if you complete this lap. So now that is Performance Engineer and Twin Triple V6 will be stuck in their cars for the rest of the race. They've been swapping cars apparently. So that's what that's going to be. Anyways, Mr. Monaco's leading us off here. Currently with the quick time, it's a 1:13.539. So his BOP'd Ferrari has been doing him pretty well so far. I'll say that message for when they're out there on the straightaway. Twin currently does get quick time, but again, he's not in the car he should be. That's not the car he's supposed to be driving, so. I'm giving you guys one lap to pull into the pits, or else you guys would be both suspended from qualifying. And you will not get the points. So. There are people that should be in those cars. Perf has pulled into the pit, so Twin, you probably should too. And you still set pulls, so unless you beat that time, I'm not going to count that lap. So, Perf is now going to, or Twin is going to pull it in. Nearly dumps his car in the process. Which currently leads Mr. Monaco to pole position, to Crucian in second though. As there's a Christian, so he again with strep throat is gonna have to push a lot to get up there, but it is his chance now. We apologize for that little audio there, but here's a Christian now just waiting to the breaking point. Banjo with that 650S making up a little bit of ground right behind them as the cars now make their way up the hill. I don't think a Christian's going to have a valid lap. How about Mr. Monaco? He doesn't have a valid lap there. I was looking for him. I don't know if that was set during the right time, but anyways, we're halfway done with qualifying, and current pack leader, that would be Mr. Monaco in his Ferrari 488. The Christian behind, although it looks like right behind him on his tail, that's the 650S being driven by Banjo. So it looks like Banjo's going to get a little loose. There's twin triple V6. Now making the way by. Twin's on an improved lap, so this is his opportunity. Actually, that's Blue Sonic Gen there. The other red and black car. How's Blue been looking? Blue's yet to set a solid, valid lap currently. Yeah, this car's now making the way into the start-finish straight. And Crucian will move ahead of RA Club. Technically pole, I believe, unless we got something wrong there with Twin. I don't believe so. Here he goes now, making his way to the line. This could be Twin's opportunity to secure a pole. Let's see which lap this is going to look like for him. Twin secures pole. That's a 112, and there's a 111 set by Performance Engineering. So Perf takes the pole position now. There's now overtaking Banjos as to make the way through the carousel. There's now currently P5 in lap times. I don't think on route to really improve much at the current moment, but there is also Perf with just another quick time here. But there's also another lap being set by Crucian potentially. Blue Sonic Gen takes the inside away as to cross it over, make the way through the final turn. closing up to pack leader. That is RA Club. So we now have about 2 minutes 45 seconds left to cross the line. Any improved lap times, Blue Sonic Gen gets by Crucian. Cars now making their way down the hill, and I think Blue Sonic Gen approaching RA Club right on their tail for pack lead. As they now make their way through the S's. Blue gets a little bit of a flick, he gets loose. The cars now making their way through the carousel here. And out the carousel they go. And the cars now making their way to the braking point, and I think Accrucian is on an improved lap. Our current pack leader has been struggling a little bit with lap times, currently in 5th place. Did get by Ayers, I believe. Still has a lot of ground to push up through. So we have about 1:30 left. There's a good chance we'll see 2 more laps to go. Unless everyone mutually just, well, dies. Here they go now through turn number 1 down the hill. Crucian closing in a little bit here on Blue Sonic Gen, but Blue Sonic Gen not far back from RA Club as they make their way down the hill into Sector 2. That's a little bit of looseness there off of the Ferrari of Mr. Monaco. He's going to go down there. How's Crucian looking? Crucian looking a little bit faster if he could... Oh, that's got to be a cut there, though. Fortunately for him. The car's now making the way out of the carousel up the hill. And... looks like Blue Gen closing in a little bit for pack lead there, gets by. So now as a closing in here, let's see if we have one more to go or not for our leaders. Got about 30 seconds to make it to the start-finish line. As they make their way to the start-finish line, any big laps here? Not quite so, though we'll see the white flag in the air. One more lap to make up here. As I think Perfect Twin's going to cross the line shortly. We'll see where that goes. Sierra's right behind, but also Crucian side by side with Mr. Monaco. They'll make their way by. Again, cross the line. You are still... if you just cross the line, it's white flag, so keep going. Mr. Monaco's now falling a little bit back through the S's, but Crucian goes too wide. He's got a cut. This is... pretty much everyone here has got a cut. How about Banjos? As looks like everyone here has got a corner cut. As Performance Engineer extends his lead by a little bit, he's just taking it slow. So that just leaves us with pretty much as we are, and I don't think that's going to quite change anytime soon with our field as far as positions go. Blue Sonic Jet now makes his way across the line again. Not a foul lap for any of these drivers, really. But I think at this point it's been reduced to a bit of a practice session to cross the line. And that is it for qualifying. Cars now making their way down, probably doing a cooldown lap to the pits. And as it looks, I think the positions are going to be Performance Engineer. Twin Turbo V sits not far behind. Blue Gen in 3rd, Aerosnet in 4th, Accrucian in 5th, Mr. Monaco in 6th. Jake technically 7th, although he's not racing. Actual 7th will be Banjos without a valid lap. So, our cars now making their way into the pit lane. We're going to put the reds on the track. So just head to the pits. There's Perf making the way across the line. Is there anyone else making the way across the line? I think that is officially it. There's G7 Jake. Now done. Alright guys, you guys could head to the pits. And line up again in that order. So that's going to be Perf in first. Second is going to be Twin Turbo V6. Blue Sonic Jet in third. Arizona in fourth. Christian in fifth. Mr. Monaco in sixth. And Banjos in eighth, unless Jake decides to race suddenly. This is going to be a 38-lap race, by the way. That's going to put us at about 45 minutes of racing. Of course, also 2 piece laps. And as far as corner cuts go, we're going to put them at 60. If you guys need to look, you could also check out your pits to the right here. So we're just going to wait for everyone to line up. As there is Jake, now we can just wait across the line. Alright. So let's start removing cars. We're starting with Jake's. You press X. You have to be stopped, but yeah, you guys will see your pit spots. I hope if anyone has any concerns about finding their pits, please let me know. I'll just show you where your pit is. But Dale, your pit's kind of like the same design as your car. It's going to be all the way up second to last. You gotta stop and press X. Hop out. Hop out. Your car is full on gas. You're fine. It'll take some time. It'll take like 5 seconds. But you don't need to actually wait. You just need to press it. You could rejoin. I don't know why it's doing that. Can you stop revving your car? And actually, once you're done, just hop out of your car. Remember, access to refuel. You don't technically need a refuel. And, Perf, your pit's the, one that looks like, Mercedes colors, yeah. Twin, of course, is Canadian. So. We're waiting on you guys to stand by your cars. You're gonna teleport Dale back. If it does become an issue, Dale, these things do... I don't know why you'd run out of fuel so quickly. But just make sure to pit. And if you're having issues, I could just try to refill you. Alright. Just line up in 5th place, so we need you guys to get back up here for Dale. Mr. Monaco, back up. Actually, we're good, we're good, we're good, we're good, we're good. Of course, newbie didn't quite know where to go, so you go back here, Banjo. We're gonna chill here. Hop out of your car once you're ready. And we'll start this. Alright. So, of course, as we've been doing, we've been playing the alternative Russian anthem, because, for reasons, probably shouldn't be doing anything in support of the current government. So, with that in mind, we were basically restricting ourselves from, playing this race in Russia. Let's go. Alright, drivers, get into your cars. I would say start your engines, but they are already started. So drivers to your cars. Once everyone in your car, we will start. We're going to make sure everyone is in their car. No trickery. You'll be parked on the spot. Alright. Currently now waiting on, I think that's Banjo. So we got 7-car field today. Of course, that's going to be gridded from up front in, excuse me, Perf's car. In the Mercedes. You also got twin turbo V6 in the Porsche. The red and black Ferrari 488 being driven by Blue Sonic Gen. Eris Netta here in traditional clothes with the Fortune McLaren. Accrution in the GGS Cadillac. Mr. Monaco in the Ferrari. And then we have Banjo's revving out his car. So, here we go. Still waiting on Eris here. Remember, if you rev, you are going to lose fuel, so. Currently now waiting on Eris. Blue expressing his discomfort. Let me DM Eris. Banjo cut it for now. I guess in the meanwhile we're gonna just try to interview somebody. Let's see. I don't know who to interview actually. Jake, yeah, sure, we'll go to Jake. Jake, got a pace car driver today, but he also drove the track out for a couple laps in your Lexus. How's it doing? Don't know if Jake is quite there. Okay, Eris, can you please get into your car? Yeah. Alright. I guess anyways, we're gonna go yellow now. Try to get this one done as soon as we can. Yellow flags out on track. Go in the car ahead if he goes. And again, perf with our current quick time, we're gonna reset those laps. Try to fit yourselves there. There's Blue Gen now clearing Eris Netta. We're just gonna have an extra pace lap just to make sure everyone is up to pace. A little space there between Accrution and Eris. Eris losing a bit of pace. Eris, can you please move up? Eris now frozen on track. But she gets going. Eris, can you push up? You're a bit far behind. Okay, there we go. Same with the Crucian. Up. And Eris is going to push. Try to stay clean if you guys can. Crucian, can you back off from Eris? Eris is now frozen on track. Yeah, it's our first disconnection, red flag. It will count as a lap though, so we're gonna red flag the race currently. Till Eris can get to a car, and then we'll go green. Once we can. So again, we are under red flag conditions currently. Just line up in the pit lane again. We'll try again. Laps will be running down like they will during the actual race. Eris, if you can flow your car back to traffic, don't cut to the pit lane because you will have a little bit of an unfair advantage on fuel that way. So just run the lap. We'll wait for you. You should also probably try to be cautious about cuts. Crucian, can you please push up? And I need Mr. Monaco to fall back here. We'll try to restart the race. Awkward start, but it does happen. People do disconnect. We'll just be waiting for Eris. So leave a space for Eris. Didn't even start the race yet, so we're just gonna try again. Laps, of course, because of this, the race will technically be shorter. I recommend not redlining because you're not going to be able to pit. So, just, I said leave a space for Eris, guys. Crucian, Mr. Monaco. Back up, leave a space for Eris. No, just waiting. We're waiting on Eris to get back up. Okay, now we're under yellow. Everyone's back up. Attempt number 2. Ferris, if you disconnect again, we might just consider you park it, but we'll try. Be cautious on your cuts, guys. I'd say minusculely. Eris, push. Alright, once we hit the spot, I want the pace car to increase the space. Like, once we hit the final sector, Jake, if you can increase pace. Once we hit the backstretch, for now, just coast, guys, but once we hit the backstretch, pace speed will be 80 miles an hour. If somebody is doing faster than it, please try to clip it, record it, let us know. They'll be penalized accordingly. Hold pace. Remember not to cross anyone until you've passed the line. We are now at a green flag. And that is Eris with 1 spot jumped, but she'll give it back up. Meanwhile, for the lead between Twin Turbo V6 and Performance Engineer, the two of them crossing over, and Twin currently leads us off on lap number 1. This race is a little bit shorter than it was intended to, but it's still a race nonetheless. The car's not making the way through. Sector 2 here, as Perf is backed off a couple spots. There's Blue Sonic Gen, Arisnetta, and Accrucian all making up a spot. So Perf has fallen back already quite a bit from pole. Tough luck for him. Car's now making their way through the carousels. Accrucian takes the inside. Blue crossing over and will make up a spot. Blue picking up the ground here on Arisnetta. Arisnetta again frozen on track. She'll keep on pushing side by side there for a second with Blue Sonic Gen. The two Ibis cars now lead us off. Eris will run it wide. That's going to lose a spot. Still holding off podium for the time being, but we got the rest of the field. Christian side by side with Performance Engineer. Eris with another issue. But she is side by side once again for second place with Blue Sonic Gen down the front stretch. We'll move up the board so you guys can see what's going on. So here they go now down the hill. It's Arisnetta in second place, but here goes Perf. Eris again with the lag spike. Kind of hard. She will still stay ahead in second place. Meanwhile, Blue Sonic Gen and Performance Engineer battling it out. There's also another battle going on. 3 cars there, all for a spot. So looks like actually, as far as action goes, this is one of the better races we've seen. Twin is still off to a dominant race. As Blue Gen on the inside of Arisnetta and clears her for the time being. Arisnetta is still on the bumper. Performance Engineer gaining up a little bit of ground here as the rest of the field into Sector 3. As Blue gets a little loose. That could help him though because he carried a lot of speed. Meanwhile, there's 3 cars there. RA Club side by side with Accrucian for 5th place. And I think he'll get it by the line. Arisnetta is again frozen out on track, but she'll keep on pushing. As she is falling back, as spot or 2, Perf is ahead. Accrucian goes wide and loses a spot. I think that gap with Twin Turbo V6 is going down a little bit. Blue Gen with very little practice on the track, but he's definitely learning it every lap he goes. He's made his way all the way up to second place. There's a possibility he's leaving the rest of the field behind. Arisnetta now closing in a little bit here on Performance Engineer. As long as her car can stay steady. Let's move to an onboard. As there's a lunge by Mr. Monaco. Again, we apologize for the ear rape. Cars now make their way through Sector 3, and it looks like Mr. Monaco's a little bit wide. Remember, folks, that the 60 cuts will be the limit for today, so be aware not to break that. Shouldn't be that hard. If you break it, you'll get a not so fun 10-second time penalty. Cars now make their way into the braking point. Looks like Perf gets a little bit wide there. There's not far behind though without McLaren. Looks like the BOP has gone very well as far as it goes. Very competitive race today. Everyone is all just a little bit up near each other. I think it's gone great for the Ferraris. Perf now making his way through the carousel. Arisnetta might be picking down the inside, but Perf is going to carry probably a little more speed on the exit. Aris was a little bit conservative about going right behind them. They now make their way into Sector 3. Twin has seemingly been escaping a little bit of that gap. He's making up a lot of time. He was very fast that last lap, almost as fast as he could be. His fastest was very close there, but here's Performance Engineer. Will he be on route for a lap record? Makes his way up to the start-finish line and moves out to the 1:11.768. I think that might be one of the faster ones we've seen. Of course, he was the fastest car with the ROX Mods yesterday and won the race by a whole minute. But it's fought a little back today, it seems. As I'm on track, let me get out of the way. Sorry. Arisnetta still right behind Performance Engineer. Both of them go wide and slap the barrier. That has been a bit of a trouble curve. That used to have an even worse little curb on the inside there, and I distinctively remember last time the GTI was there, it killed me. I got flipped over, and that was a bit of a tricky situation. Here's the cars now making their way through. And I think Perf might be running a little bit away from Eris here. Of course, this lap's wound down. Everyone will start to fill up, but Eris right on the bumper for just a second. I think the field is spread out a little bit evenly here. Might become a strategy race at some point soon. Everyone within enough of a gap to where pit stops will definitely matter. Even all the way up to the back. Car, Eris slides hard, spins out off of turn number 1. That is a rough mistake. She's lost a couple spots out of that. As it looks like Banjo's is right on the tail of Mr. Monaco. They're now making their way down the hill through Sector 1 into Sector 2. Again, through the death curve. Both the cars will run it wide. Mr. Monaco does need to watch his cuts or else he will get a penalty at some point soon. Only 6 laps in the race, he's already got 20 cuts. That's not exactly good for him. Still side by side though with Banjo's in the meanwhile. Banjo's tries to peek a little bit there to Mr. Monaco. Mr. Monaco gets loose. Banjo cuts through. How are they looking? They got 15 cuts to their name. And I think that gap has been taken down a little bit by Blue Sonic Gen. Twin being hunkered down by the Ferrari 488 of Blue Sonic Gen. That BOP has done him absolute wonders. Perf also closing in, only about 2 seconds behind. So now this could be a 3-way battle starting up here. All depends on how things go. Perf holds off the fastest lap throughout the race, so he does have the pace to get there. Cars now make their way into the braking point, and I think that gap is definitely closing in. Only a couple car lengths separating our leaders. By the end of this lap, about a half-second gap between the two, and only about a second and a half, I'd say, to Perf. Cars now making their way into the front stretch for the lead. Could it be Blue Sonic Gen's first win of this year? He's about a half-second back. So is Perf, about only 1 second. So very much so closing in the gap, and actually Perf closing in a little bit more on Blue Gen, more so than not, as they make their way through turn 2. Now down the hill into Sector 2. Could you guys please not intentionally extend there? Off of turn 3 into 4. I will start throwing penalties, that happens too much. I can tell when it's deliberate when you leave left, so yeah. Just stay chill, guys. So let's have a good race here. Twin, though, that's a goes. Leading us off. So he's now making his way into the braking point. Twin Blue in Perf, that's your first warning for cutting. Intentionally. I can kind of tell a difference between, like, kind of like making an oopsie and then extending on a straight. So don't do that. Cars now making their way into turn 1 as Blue Gen hunkering down a little bit on Twin Turbo V6. About a car length or 2 separating them, as Perf also close behind. Blue Gen makes a bit of a miscalculation. Of course, it is very easy to cut in that turn. And as the cars make their way down the hill, of course the gap is going to increase as speeds increase, but look at those cars enter the carousel. I think Perf closing in a little bit here on Blue Gen. Just a few tenths off. Down to the braking point off of Sector 3. Perf tries to close in the bumper, but he hits the barrier. That's going to cost him some time. Meanwhile, side-by-side action between Banjo and Mr. Monaco. Arizona right behind as well. And it looks like Mr. Monaco is going to stay ahead. As they're looking up for the lead. Meanwhile, for the lead, Perf makes a lunge, but it's not going to work for him. Arizona with a hard dive bomb here, but she overcooks it, and that does not help her at all. As they're looking up for the lead, though. That gap's starting to close in, but Blue just extends so much. That's a lot of speed loss. Here is Perf right behind. And I think I can see Perf is closing in little by little here on Blue Sonic Gen to the breaking point. Will he make the move? Blue takes the inside away, just staying barely ahead of that Mercedes. Cars now making the way into the front stretch. And it's side by side for second place. But I think Perf has just got more power. He's going to make his way through and gets up to second place. That gap has changed quite a bit here, as I think Accrucian has parked it early. Sarah's now with the crossover move with Banjo, but she'll make the move back inside for, I believe that's 5th place. How about back for second? Blue Gen makes the move. He'll move up to second place. And there's being chased very closely behind by Banjo. I think she'll stay ahead. Perf now taking the Ross Chastain line practically through the carousel. Carries a little bit more speed than Blue Gen, but that's a very risky line to run. As cars make their way into the final turn onto the front stretch once again. We are closing in somewhat on halfway, not quite there. But I think in about, was it like 5, 6 laps? 7 laps? I think 7 laps will be the halfway point, so I'm very curious to see if there's going to be any undercutters. About a whole 10 separating the two. As there's also something going on back there. Air's going to try to make a move by Banjo, but she overcooks it, loses the spot. Meanwhile, again, for second place, side by side, down the hill. Of course, the horsepower of that Mercedes will help for the moment. How about the Ferrari? The Ferrari's been given a weight BOP, and it has made the car extremely competitive. Now make the way down the carousel. Perf closing in little on twin turbo V6. But so is Blue Gen on Perf. His Ferrari is very slidey, I must say. That's something of note. Aris Netta right behind Banjo. There's the 2 McLarens. Still, we've done 13 laps here, and that's about an entire from the micro race, and everyone's still within 10 seconds of each other. So I think everyone's got a pretty good grasp of how the track runs compared to the last couple races we've been having. Of course, looks like off screen, Perf has gone away from Blue Sonic Gen. He's right behind battling Twin for the lead. About a car length, but closing in on that Porsche. Cars now make their way through the carousel and up the hill once more into Sector 3. We're running in late here, and this definitely could have implications of something. A little reminder that last time the winner won the race by doing a pit stop. So I'm curious if anyone's going to try to go on the no pit strategy anymore after that. I'm not exactly how hard this track is on tires. I'd assume probably pretty hard given how long the straights are. And speeds, of course, being high as they are. So our cars now making their way into turn 1 out into turn 2 here. And Perf has got a bit of a bad line. That's definitely to the benefit of Blue Sonic Gen. Arisneta is still trying to make a move here with Banjo. Arisneta right on the bumper now takes the inside away from Banjo as they make their way through Sector 2 into the S's. Now make their way out of the S's, and I think Aris has cleared them off. Cars now making their way into the braking point. Perf is right at the bumper. Twin Triple V sits. Both these guys have been winners this weekend. Blue Gen is yet to have won, I think, this year. But he's always been up front when he can. Luck just hasn't been his way. I wonder if it is possible. Meanwhile, Perf will take the lead back. So our pole sitter goes back to the lead. But here's Twin down the inside. Perf now trying to cross over. Those two go side by side. It's a crossover move for the lead. Looks like Twin is going to take it back. Battling will stress these two out. That could help Blue. And I think he's closed down a little bit of that gap. Twin still holding up for the lead, as Perf is second by just about a car length behind. You see Blue also within about a half second there. Cars now making their way through the carousel. As Perf tends to struggle on taking it, but on the exit, he's just got all that much more power. Side by side for the lead once again. They make their way through into the braking point off Sector 3. So here's the first lead battle I think we've seen this weekend. Of course, it's the two giants as they make their way into the final turn. I think Twin still stays ahead, but Perf has got more power, and he'll take it back by the line. Is going to extend that lead by about half a tenth there. So that's straight, definitely implicative of horsepower. As Twin will get back the lead through the curves. Of course, that's where his Porsche's got the most advantage. To them side by side for the lead, of course. More power for the Mercedes. But through the curve, it's the Porsche. Side by side up into the S's here. Now through the S's, Porsche will stay ahead. Although, again, the power of that Mercedes might come and clutch and make the way down the hill into the carousel. Now throw the banked left-hander out of it, up the hill, into Sector 3 they go. And Perf will get it back. We got another couple turns here that could be of help of Twin Triple V sits. Couple of hard turns. That's a new sector. That's Drain Pipe. They make their way out into the final turn. Up the hill once more. And it's just so hard to get away from him. Perf will take back the lead. Just at the line. Though, by gap, you can see Twin has been closing in a little bit. Especially there. Twin goes very wide there. That's going to hurt. As Twin will now clear Perf for the lead. Just ever so slightly. Takes the inside. Now make their way down the hill just about side by side. You could also mention the great battle going on between these three cars. But meanwhile, we got one for the lead just about. Cars now make their way down the hill into the carousel. Perf touches the bumper just so slightly. Trying to run what he can. He will come back up. As it looks like Banjo's made up a spot there. Takes away 4th place. Meanwhile, Perf back up to the lead. But here we go to the breaking point off Sector 3. Twin to the inside. He'll cut through. He'll make a move. And they'll go through. Now onto the front stretch. Of course, the power. It just. For that Mercedes, you just can't beat it. That's a big gap there developed by the end of the straight. We got 3 cars here battling out in the back of the field, basically 3 wide, as they all make their way into turn number 1. Look at that. 3 wide for a moment there as they make their way into turn number 2. Ayres is going to try to close off, but here goes the other McLaren down the inside. He'll make the move through. How about up front? Looks like it's spaced out just a bit here. There's a lot of gap that has to be made up. As there's a small wall tap there for Banjos. Perf and the Porsche nearly side by side, but I know it's going to go in advantage of the Mercedes. Meanwhile, Ayres closing in onto the bumper of the other McLaren. They cross over through the carousel. Out of the carousel they go, and I think Ayres takes the inside away. She'll go back up front to the lead. These are 2 equal cars here, and that will matter significantly. Perf will lead by the end of the lap. So now we got a little 3-car battle starting up for 4th place. Banjo takes away the inside from Ayres. He will clear her as they make the way into the final turn over drain pipe. Second half separating Perf from Twin. That is significant. I think Perf has developed a bit of a grasp of what he has to do here. As there's RA Club, he makes his way into the pit lane. You gotta do the Ferrari pit. That's the red one. You don't have to be perfectly in there, you just have to be remotely. Back up a little. Okay, you're good. So we got the first pitter. That is RA Club. Bit of a tricky exit there. And you're cleared. You're clear. Alright. So that's the first pitter. He takes it. Ayres net is side by side though for 4th place. So Mr. Monaco's got a very loose car. He might be able to capitalize doing a pit stop at this point. I'm wondering if there's going to be any other takers. Our leaders make their way up through there. Meanwhile, side by side between the 2 McLarens, they do back off. And I think it looks like Perf will stay out of the pits. How about Twin? Twin also confident. There's not a big gap there. I'm not quite sure. I don't know how the cars are racing personally. Blue's also staying out. As I think... trying to see who's out or not. I think most of everyone has stayed out. We're going to move Jake a little bit out of the way here. If Jake's not here. Jake, can you move out of the pit exit? It's a bit tight. Okay, no issue. We'll continue back where it was. The 2 McLarens crossing over side by side through the S's. Down the hill into the carousel. It's a whole 40 seconds that Mr. Monaco's got to make up, but it could be possible. Still no takers at the pits. As Ayres will fall back a little bit here, the 2 McLarens make their way up the hill. Ayres weaves a bit down the inside, but she will fake it out. Keeps it out onto turn number 1. Still confident with herself being able to overtake the other McLaren. Does look possible, like our leaders have been losing about a second a lap here. Of course, they gotta ponder if it's worth it. Gap between Perf and Twin, I think, has either extended or decreased a bit. We'll see. They make their way across the front stretch. Has extended just a little bit. Currently battle now here between Arisnetta and Banjo. And how are we looking on cuts? Banjo is awfully close. He's got 6 cuts. Until he gets a 10-second time penalty. So Aris might be counting on that one. She's got a little bit of space to work with here, of course. As Arisnetta clears off from Banjo. Nobody quite in the range of a penalty yet, though, of course, you want to be watching your cuts, because that will matter once you hit 60. Aris gets a bit of a flick there, so does the other McLaren, but Banjo now clears off Arisnetta by the end of the lap. But Arisnetta still on the bumper. Ultimately, just a better exit by Banjo. As there is Blue Gen now making his way out of the pits. Loses 2 spots, but now making his way out of the pits. And with much fresher tires than the cars ahead of him, he will likely be able to secure a podium very soon. Arisnetta side by side with Banjo for just a moment through the S's, although she's going to fall back. As make the way now through the carousel, the 2 McLarens battling it out, crossing over, but Banjo clears Arisnetta by the end. I don't think Twin or Perf have exactly put their minds on pitting at this current time. As I think they might be confident with their gaps. They probably should be able to get away with it. There's a big wide extension by Blue Gen there, but also up for currently 3rd, that is between Banjo and Arisnetta. Of course, Blue's not far behind with fresh tires. So we might see him in a lap or 2. As we're looking on cuts, Banjo very much so at risk here as far as cuts go. He's only got 3 more until he gets a pretty big penalty. That's going to be a 10-second at a post-race. That could put you at risk even with Mr. Monaco. Car's now making their way into the braking point. As Arisnetta right on the bumper. Our car's now making their way into the front straightaway, and I think Aris might be able to, she's carrying more speed, might be able to clear off turn number 1 if she could keep her head straight here. Making her way into turn 1, a little harder on the brakes to make some move around the outside, but is going to just about work the 2 of them side by side there as they make their way through the hairpin off turn 2. Aris now currently clearing off Banjo, though Banjo's still on their tail. As Blue Gen ever so slightly approaching little by little. Laps are going to start winding down. How's Blue looking at laps? Reasonably quick, side by side there for 3rd between Banjo and Aris. Two of them now make the way out of the carousel. And here they go now into the braking point on Sector 3. As Aris gets loose, there is Blue Song Gen right behind the 2 of them. Aris has lost a spot, and I think that could also allow Blue Gen here on the straight just to overtake Aris. We'll see. There's Aris now getting close in on little by little from that Ferrari. Blue Gen closing down the inside, now to the outside, they close in. As there's 3 cars battling out for 3rd place for the time being. Of course, Blue's got fresh tires, That's going to be significant on getting by these two. Currently clears off from Banjo. Eris is going to tap the wall just so slightly. As Eris actually claiming a little bit of time back, now makes the move, gets a back her 4th place spot from Blue Sonic Gen. Now going in for 3rd, takes the inside and clears Banjo's just a bit there, but Banjo's going to carry more speed. So is Blue. We see, I think it is 3 wide. Yes, sir, 3 wide. Now making the way into the hairpin. Look at that. Blue Gen now clears the 2, and I think that could be where this ends. Again, he's got just so much fresher tires than everyone else. Everyone else has got tires that have completely died off here. But they're side by side for 4th place with Banjo's. I think she'll clear them by the end of the lap. Next time by would be 10 laps to go. As Performance Engineer says, Bono, my tires are gone. He's got a 24-second Sector 1, significantly less than Twin, although he's still outrunning them 6 seconds here. I think for now, Blue Gen has secured his 3rd place spot. And Erisnet side by side with Blue Sonic Gen, and I think she's just about carried more speed there through the carousel. Blue Gen runs it wide. And Eris still pushing. Blue Gen will take back the 3rd place spot here. As Erisnet crossing over through the drain pipe. I was looking for perf. Just lost a lot of time there. It appears our Romanian merch seller has been cooking the crate cam for quite a bit. So yeah, that one works out. Meanwhile, Banjos and Eris still at it with each other here. I'm wondering how Mr. Monaco's doing. I feel like he's probably a little bit tired here. There's now side by side with Banjos, but they make their way up the hill. I think that gap is a little bit there, but here's Airsnet closing in on the bumper. These two just really cannot get out of it. Of course, with equal cars, basically equal drivers here, as far as that situation goes. And now make the way up the hill. I think we got 9 laps to go here. So, on the later stage of today's race, I'd certainly say it's one of the races that I wouldn't want to say bad. There's a couple of lead battles going on. That was good. Might even see another one stir up if it goes the way that it is. These last couple of laps have definitely been in favor of Twin Turbo V6. In fact, I think Twin has done a pit stop. Twin is the last person still out. Eris has gotten loose and lost a lot of time doing something. I think Blue Gen has a bit of a gap behind Perf, so that definitely helped out Perf in that situation. So far, it seems to be the Twin Turbo V6 will be leading this race. We got 8 laps to go officially. Just now making its way into Sector 2, so it's just running laps at this point. Got a 14-second gap there, so very curious to see if Perf is going to try to make that up by the end. Of course, no pit strategies have been a bit of a theme of 2023 as far as the GTI series goes, and it's been a bit interesting. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Definitely didn't work last week when Tenafis took the lead back from Twin just at the line, I believe. Is our Twin or Perf? I think it's Perf. That race just did not go his way. And Darius goes hard into the outside barrier off of the carousel. How's he looking this lap? It's looking pretty quick there. Second sector is about the same as Twin, but then again, this car tends to be inferior on Sector 2. As Perf definitely pushing, he's taking that gap down to 12 seconds. As Blue Gen is only about 18 behind, so he's made up a little bit of the time that he's lost. Everyone's about 6 seconds back. Again, looking at Eris here, she's on the bumper. Again, these two McLarens genuinely just cannot leave each other. It's an impossible task, as here they go now through the S's, and I think Arisneta could be clearing them off. I think actually as of now, it's true that Banjo has a 10-second time penalty that'll be added post-race. So you might want to be cautious there. If you fall back a few too many seconds, Mr. Monaco might be able to make up a spot. As of now, currently Arisneta holding off 4th place. By visual position, of course, Banjo will be given a 10-second penalty post-race, which could have implications, of course. Mr. Monaco also kind of close there. He's only got 3 cuts to go till he gets that penalty. So, all the drivers kind of inching in here. 10 seconds is what separates Twin from Perf. Will he be able to make it in time? There's only a couple laps left in this race. Think about this time by, we'll make it 6. Make it 5. It's Twin's now making his way through the carousel. Now out of the carousel as he goes into the back straight. How's Perf looking as far as positions go? He's going around the outside of the carousel. A very interesting tactic. I think it just has to do with how big that car is. I believe that is the biggest GT3 car we have in the field, the GTR Mercedes. It might be beaten out by the Cadillac, but this tends to be one of the more buff cars, I'd say. Banjo now makes a pit stop there, gets overlapped. I believe that has lost some position there with RA Club. We'll see though. Harris goes wide off of turn number 1. That's significant. That's a lot of time loss. I could actually hear RA Club closing in little by little on Harris. He's yet to have gotten a penalty. He's got 2 to go here until he gets one. Arisnet has also got to watch her cuts too. She's close, but not quite in range. Only a couple cuts less there. How's that gap looking between these two? I think it's closing in quite a bit. Will there be enough time for Twin to outrun Perf, though? There's only about 6-second gap between these two. You could just see Perf. Oh, he goes wide. You just see Twin on the outside of the shot. So that's, again, that's just how close he is. Just right there. Could mean the difference between getting a quick time, and he actually does have a very fast time. It's 1 minute 10.768 there for him, so that's overall just rapid. About 10 seconds there separating Eris from RA Club. So I think the closest battle here will be the one for the lead. That's between Twin and Perf. You could just hear Twin there. So second by second here. With 3 laps to go, by the way, once we cross the line for Twin. Now hit the braking point. You could just see Twin in the back of every shot here. He's down that gap to about 4 seconds, so that's about 2 seconds a lap here. Twin's got to hope. He's got to push if he wants to hold off Perf. But if he pushes, he might risk spinning out at this point. What are those laps looking like? It's about 2 seconds faster there. Perf had a purple sector 3 that lap, so clearly just superior as far as pushing is going. And Mr. Monaco, you do have a 10-second time penalty, but you're not going to lose any spots currently, so don't worry about it. I'm sure that puts a bit of a breath of relief for Arisneta there. She'll basically hold off her 4th place position for the rest of the race. As meanwhile, let's see what it's looking like for the lead. Perf making its way right behind. Just one drain pipe separating the two. They make their way through the final turn onto the front straightaway. There's about a 3-second gap separating these two. We got 2 laps to go. It's going to be close. I feel like there might be something on the final lap. Maybe even this one if something happens. Any time he goes loose will be significant. And Perf has down that gap to 1.5 seconds between Twin. Only a couple car lengths separating the two, and I feel like this is going to be a Perf win here. Once again, these two dominated the weekend. Oh, I do think, though, this will definitely, without doubt, go in Perf's favor by the end. Closing in little by little. Perf learned his lesson not pitting last week, and it's going to pay off significantly here. And then make the way around the carousel. Out of the carousel they go, and Perf is at the lead. Is there anything that Twin can do to make it up? I don't think so at this current point. His tires are just way too dead. He's going to have to take a big mistake there. He's desperate, though. Now, this time by, we'll see the white flag waving in the air for Performance Engineer. He gets back to lead this lap. There's one more lap this race. And he taps a wall. But that might be just too much time to be made up by by Twin here. So I think as it goes, Perf is en route to win. This is the final time around the track. This is the first time we've seen GTIs again since 2021. It's been a long wait, but we're back. As we now make our way around the carousel one last time. He takes the wide line. And I think Twin is completely cleared. I don't think there's anything you're going to be able to make that one up. Perf now making his way into the braking point. Now out of the final turn. He makes his way up the hill. Your race winner will be Performance Engineering as he makes his way across the line. Perf wins. Second place goes to Twin Triple V Sits. And now, I believe coming out of the final turn, we're going to see Blue Sonic Gen. Banjos has made up the spot with Eris, although he's got his penalty. He's going to be too far behind. I don't think Eris has got one. So there's Blue Gen, 20-second gap. He'll come up in third. Hits the barrier. I guess it's become a bit of a tradition. As coming their way to the line, Arisneta will come up from fourth. Banjo will come up a lap down. Unfortunately, that's going to be sixth place for him. As Mr. Monaco has cleared his way. And apparently, Twin has ditched his car. So, if everyone could please get your cars and head back to... I see where his car is. Good news. It's right there. Yeah, head to the podium. Alright. We got the podium off on the carousel. It's going to be a little bit of a victory drive here for Perf. Again, positions are Performance Engineer, Twin Turbo V6, Blue Sonic, Jen Harris, Netta, RA Club, and Banjo. So that is what it is. Here. Let's try negative 100 here if you want to do a donut. My guys can't block. That's one way to do donut is by smoke out. He covers a whole place in smoke. Oh. Alright. Yep. That is your finishing positions. Well, let's get the shot for the podium. Perf, twin. Twin. Wow. Alright, let's get twin. Stop. Yes. Here's. I just want to get I want to get a podium shot, please. 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 Alright. We're gonna get in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Okay. Starting off with Perf here. So Perf. That was a late race push, but it did work. I'm assuming you remember last week when Tenafis took that lead away, and since that pitting does work for you, how are you doing? You're unmuted, by the way.
Pretty good. I was pissed off with Tenafis, so I was like, you know what, I'm gonna pull the same thing on Twin.
And it did work. Alright, how was the track today, and how's the cars?
Car doesn't do well with dead tires.
Car doesn't do well with dead tires, it seems. Anything other significant?
Track still sucks.
Track still sucks. I see. Alright, is there anything else you want to say here, Perf? You've won the race today. Dominated the weekend.
So at the very beginning, I was going slow on purpose to try to save tires. Yeah, it didn't work. Gets to the pit.
Yeah. Well, seems that pitting worked out pretty well for you. Thank you there, Perf. We're now going to move on to Twin Turbo V6, now currently in the McLaren, the Porsche. Apparently that's a McLaren now. Coming up here in second, you've also been doing pretty solid this weekend, but how are you doing?
Yeah, the race was alright. Battle was fun, but like, I don't know, not much more I could really do. I think staying out was probably the better idea since I would have been behind Blue if I pit. So yeah, I don't know. But Perf, what speed were you doing through the start-finish line? Because when I drove that car, it wasn't that quick.
I think the fastest I've gone was, I think, 158, 160.
158? Are you sure? Because that's what I was doing, and he passed me pretty easily in the Porsche.
Yeah.
Are you sure that's what the speed you were doing?
Yep.
As I do 160 across the start line, and you passed me like I'm doing that.
Across the start?
Yeah, across the start line.
I think it was like 163.
I don't know.
All right.
I believe that, but
all right.
Yeah, whatever.
All right.
Not much I can do about any sort of cheating possibility, but yeah.
All right. Well, next up here we have Netta in 4th place. She has had a bit of an interesting race. I'd say a lot of battling between her and both the Ferrari and the McLaren. So, how goes Thai?
Yeah, I mean, I said something in the before. No, I don't remember if it was before the race or before qualifying. But out of all the classes that I've driven in this weekend, and that was literally only the ROX Mods and the GTIs were the least fun. Because, like, you're constantly fighting with the car, and it's not, like, fun fighting like the ROX Mods where, oh, I'm gonna slide, oh no, let me correct it. And this time you're just fighting understeer most of the time, at least with the 650. Like, even after the weight adjustments, like the 650 still constantly battles with understeer, and Banjo also said it. He actually was doing the same thing that I do, which is one of the reasons why I do no stops. Because when you no stop, your tires are more worn, and that way you can actually rotate the car better. Because the 650 struggles so much with understeer that that's the way to be able to rotate properly, to slide out the car on entry, to be able to properly angle up. The track was way more fun with the ROX Mods than with the GTs. Mostly because of the understeer, and a lot of these turns are very since a lot of them are fast, you have to slow down proper before you even think of taking them. Because these cars don't really slide that easy. The ROX ones, you can just throw them and pray that you make it, but with these ones, you just throw them and you're doomed. You can't just throttle a bit more to get more oversteer, or maybe brake a little bit, because then you're just gonna brake and understeer more. Obviously it is also a fucking thing with skill. I am not as good as I was when I was just coming in, and I am also very, very bad emotionally, because my fucking ankle's been fucking me up badly. But still, before I couldn't really say most of what I'm saying right now because nobody else drove the 650. But now that I noticed that Banjo was reciprocating my points, and both of us were almost exactly even in pace, save for a few it has to be a thing with the car by that point. Like, yeah, there's definitely, like, I did the rotation, the turning circle test, and the results were that the Mercedes was actually the best turning out of all the cars. It had the best turning circle, the shortest. And the Porsche, with the very low weight it used to have, was in second. The Mercedes with 277, which is supposed to be the spec weight according to Nico, had a better rotation angle than the Porsche that had like, I think it was 2,545. Like, I feel like it's definitely down to the balance because, like, you're never going to be able to perfectly balance cars, but, like, saying that this is, like, equal or balanced, at least in its current state, is a very, very big, like, fucking myth at this point. Because it's been proven time and time again that packs are formed with the same car. For example, in Göteborg, the Porsches were always together. And in this race, and in the previous one, this 650S, in last race's case, me and Chiquito, and in this race case, me and Banjo, were together for almost the whole race. Yeah. That's really all I wanted to say.
Alright. Thank you there, Aris. Hope that you at least enjoyed the battle between you and R8 and Banjo. So
it was fun until it died.
Yeah. Alright. Up next, we got one more driver here. That is R8 Club. We're sorry for keeping you waiting here. How was the race today? I know it probably got a little boring at the end, but I'm sure that was a good battle going up.
It was okay. I loved the new Ferrari. Not as terrible as it was, but tire wear still threw me off and I had to pit and I lost position. And then at the end I got a penalty because I slid wide and I couldn't save it.
What are your thoughts on having to take a pit stop currently? Coming up to the next race, of course.
Well, it sets me back a lot because then I have to drive 101% to catch up to the car in front, and it's a harder time.
I see. Any lessons then today? I don't know why I'm asking for lessons from you, but anything that you think you've learned out of today's race? I'm just honestly curious.
Well, I have to save the tires more, and maybe a bit less on the cuts.
Alright. Thank you there, Mr. Monaco. We appreciate you coming here. Well, we hope you have a very fun weekend in Monza. In the meanwhile, I think that should settle it for today. For anyone that is watching, who's going to be a self-promo, shamelessly, of course, we have a merch shop. Of course, that is currently already done, but there's indeed clothes you can buy. We got the both the SLC shirt and hoodie going on, so if you're interested in those, do check those out in the server. And that should settle it for today. We will be taking an off week, I should say. But after next week, which I, of course, will be at Monterey, we're going to be taking it off to Hawaii. So that closes the European schedule. We're done with Europe. After this, we'll be going all the way up to... well, we'll be going to Hawaii, then we'll be going to the Midwest. So I believe the week after this will be I think 3 weeks from now we'll be at Northwest Ohio, and that will be fun. And then we do the rest of the Midwest all the way up to GP. So thank you guys for watching. Till next time, stay quick. Let's go.